April 28th, 1908, in the town of Zwickau, back when Austria-Hungary was still a country. My family was very well off, as they owned a very impressive factory that produced farm equipment. Now, the First World War did affect my family's company, as our whole country even changed its name. We became Czechoslovakia. But like I said, we were very well off. So we weren't really affected very badly.
Wow! Tell me more!
Well, I was also a very big party boy, but what teen wasn't?
So clever!
Yes, I loved to drive around in nice cars, just like my father. And, well, after I grew up a bit, I realized I needed to get a job. I worked for my father a bit, but I became restless, so I went out on my own. I even created my own business for driving. I also became a spy for the German army and spied within my country. It gained me many, many connections. And then, after the German army invaded Poland, I decided to go with them. I moved into Krakow, the Polish city, and I established my own factory.
Oh, you are such a card, just like your father. Now tell me more about your Nazi involvement.
Well, while working as a German spy, my country, the region of my country, Sudetenland, was invaded, and I realized that my connections within the government would be lost. So I decided I would join the Nazi Party because it was very popular in this time. I quickly gained much more popularity, and I was being invited to parties all the time. And then I decided I would just go straight with them to Poland.
Wow! That's incredible! Now, on to the 4 questions everybody's been waiting for. First question. What event has truly affected you in your life?
Well, in 1942 October, I was busy in my factory in the Krakow ghetto. And as I looked out onto the ghetto, seeing my Jewish workers and other Jewish people, I saw all these SS Nazi officers rush into the ghetto. I also saw them insult and beat some of my close workers. I was so astonished and so disgusted by these actions. It was just so crazy. That it was then that I decided that I would begin helping these Jewish people.
I can see how much that event has affected you. But how did you affect those around you in your lifetime?
Well, first I quickly knew I needed to gather as many Jews as I could. And so by the end of 1942, I had expanded my business to about 800 men and women, Jewish workers. I knew that, of course, that the SS officers and inspectors would think, hey, why is Schindler getting all of these new workers? That's kind of suspicious. But I used my connections. With my connections, I was able to easily just charm or even bribe these SS inspectors for me to keep all the workers I wanted. I could convince them that I could have a stupid, crippled girl, and they would easily believe me. This is how I was able to save many more Jews.
I can see how much you cared for them. But what about during the end of the war? The SS officers did much of their executions during that time. How did you end up protecting them?
Well, I knew that these SS officers were going to try and take my workers. So I made a key decision. I would save all of them.
All of your workers? How?
Well, by using my connections. First, I set up a plan that I would move my factory back to Czechoslovakia. This way, they would be farther away from the SS inspectors, and so they would be a little more protected in this way. So, me and my accountant, Itzhak Stern, created a list of all the workers I was going to take with me. We labeled them as highly skilled ammunitions workers. They might not have been that good, but, we needed them. So after many bribes and many dangerous tasks, I was able to round up all of my workers and load them onto a train, and they were quickly sent away back to Czechoslovakia. It was very dangerous, of course, but I ended up saving them all. I saved about a total of 1,200 Jews.
My, what a noble person you are. Now you are fairly alone in this decision to save your Jews. How did you let those around you know you supported them?
Well, my accountant, Itzhak Stern, when I first met him, I knew he was very indifferent towards me. He probably thought, hey, this guy is like a jerk. And he had good reasoning for thinking that. I mean, I was using forced Jewish labor, and I was part of the Nazi Party. But I wanted to get close to him, as a good boss should. And, it's just my nature to be friendly. But I knew I needed to convince him in a big way so he would change around his impression. So, in December 1939, I gave Stern a very discreet warning. I told him, tomorrow, Josefa and Istaka streets are going to know about it. I discreetly told him that there is going to be an invasion in the ghetto at those streets. And the next day, when it happened, I could see that Stern knew I had given him the warning.
Well, you certainly are clever. Well, that's it today, folks. And everybody give a big round of applause for Oskar Schindler.